Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition. Here are the top stories. Prime Minister chairs a high-level meeting on COVID-19. For the international news, 300,000 additional deaths in the United States during the pandemic. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The Republic of Djibouti today, Wednesday, closed its land borders for a period of 15 days. This measure announced on a presidential decree issued yesterday, Tuesday, is added a crucial clarification. After some countries recorded an increase of COVID-19 and following the presidential decree of October 2020, stipulating to closure of our land borders, a high-level meeting was held this morning at the People's Palace, led by Prime Minister Mr. Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed. This meeting was attended by the ministerial department concerned. This foundation has made it possible to put in place measures in line with the implementation of this 15-day closure of our land borders. Nevertheless, the circulation of goods and merchandise, as indicated in the decree of October 2020, is not affected by these measures. In a speech on this occasion, the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed, referred to the reason that led to the closure of land borders. The national television camera monitored the impression of some participating ministers, such as the Minister of Interior, Mr. Momin Ahmed Sheikh, who said that the closure of land borders of Djibouti was a part of the protection of citizens against the spread of a new wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Adding that he said that tests for the coronavirus will be conducted to examine those suspected. The movement of goods is not affected by this procedure, according to the presidential decree issued on the 20th of this month. After his participation in a high-level meeting on the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, Prime Minister Mr. Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed shared this morning at the People's Palace a meeting on the fight against illegal work in our country. A number of ministers participated in this meeting, such as the Minister of Labor in charge of administrative reform, Mr. Usman Ibrahim Roble, the Minister of Defense, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. In addition to the Director of the Labor Inspectorate, of the Minister of Labor, the General Director of the National Police, the Director of the National Agency for Labor Training and Professional Integration, and other officials. Discussion focused on the fight against illegal employment of Djiboutian citizens and foreigners. It was observed that some employees use work without protection and guarantee and receive insufficient pay. The fight against this scourge that undermines the safety of work in our country, the government, through the Ministry of Labor, will develop a strategy to combat illegal work and preserve the rights of Djiboutian workers. Now, this morning, the headquarters of the Popular Saving and Credit Fund hosted an official ceremony to launch the granting of loans to fishermen. This event was held under the auspices of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and the Governor of the Central Bank in cooperation with the Djiboutian Agency for Social Development. This occasion is a unique day for the fishermen who benefit from this loan to carry out their daily tasks and activities. This financing is provided by the International Fund for Agricultural Development through the Ministry of Agriculture and will give a boost to private sector activities through this appropriate loan. The ceremony was attended by the Ministry of Economy, the Fishery Director, the Governor of the Central Bank, the representative of the United Nations Development Programme, and the participants. In a speech delivered on this occasion, the Director of the People Saving and Credit Fund, Mr. Omar Ibrahim Umar, said that fund support and finances income-generating projects is intended for ordinary groups to improve their living conditions. For his part, the governor of the central bank, Mr. Ahmed Usman Ali, noted that the support project for fishermen is an important and unique project that provides them with income to perform their duty at the present time. For his part, the Minister of Finance and Economy, Mr. Yes Musattawali, welcomed in his address all the partners who made this event, which aims to support simple segments of society. Now, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, shared this morning a launching ceremony of the qualification courses for students who have obtained a professional license in their various specializations. The event took place at the headquarters of the Industrial and Commercial High School in the presence of the General Secretary to the Ministry, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, the Director General of the Technical Education and Vocational Training Rehabilitation, Mr. Abdul Qadir, the Inspector General of the Technical Education and Vocational Rehabilitation, in addition to the officials' ministries. The minister received a warm welcome and a standing ovation on his arrival at the Industrial and Commercial High School by the director, employees, and teachers. It should be noted that students with a high school diploma will take courses in international trade and in the field of logistics and transportation for a period of 3 years. These courses are part of the workshop Le Pen in Djibouti, which the President of the Republic inaugurated in March 2019. Now in Balho district, as part of his inspection tour in the interior region and on the occasion of World Food Day, the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Fish Resources, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, accompanied by a high-ranking delegation from his ministerial department and the governor, the prefect of the Tajwa region, visited the Dora district in the district of Tajwa. This visit aims at finding solution to the problem of water shortages by building many wells in this area. The minister welcomed the progress made in the construction of wells, which was implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture in the district of Dora, which is a remote region in the border with Ethiopia. During this visit, the minister went to Otoy, where he was received by Engineer Baraguita, elected officials and local residents. Drilling work on the Otoy well is progressing rapidly. This visit also comes after the drilling of a flooded well, which witnessed a large flow of water and has now provided all the inhabitants of the village with safe water. After the delegation led by the Minister of Agriculture went to the village of Balho to stand closely around the drilling of a well for the inhabitants. On the sideline of his visit to the region of Tajura, the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, and his accompanying delegation held an important meeting with notables and dignitaries living in the district of Balho. During this meeting, the dignitaries thanked the Minister of Agriculture for his visit to Balho and conveyed their complaint and the challenges they face in their daily situation. The themes of the meeting focused on how to improve living conditions, how to access safe drinking water that preserves the health of livestock. The prefect of the district of Tajwa, Hassan Adabale, and the local team, Mr. Ali Dini, participated in this meeting. In turn, the minister thanked the resident for the warm welcome he and the high-ranking delegation of Mopine has received. The minister promised that the drilling of the Otoy and Balho wells will be completed quickly, and the technician will do their utmost to complete the construction work. Now, His Excellency the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, participating in the 22nd edition of the African Energy Forum yesterday, Tuesday, with the slogan of Leading Africa during the Fifth Industrial Revolution, which will last for 3 days. This edition, which brings together all energy ministers of the African continent, is intended to be a platform of concrete ideas to help Africa cope with the social and economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. To this end, several African political leaders of the energy sector have been invited during this forum to discuss at a roundtable on how to lead Africa during the Fifth Industrial Revolution and bring inclusive investment to the continent. In his speech, the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Excellency Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, said that the Fifth Industrial Revolution will benefit from the innovation and digitization of all the sectors and traditional process of the Industrial Revolution. The Minister of Energy, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, also informed his African counterpart that our country was about to launch construction work on a wind farm with a capacity of 60 megawatts and an additional 30 megawatts for solar energy. This is being presented with great interest. And now, as every year, the Mohammed Burhan Qasim ferry is rebuilt, but unfortunately is late in resuming service due to global containment. The ferry will resume service on Wednesday, October 28, 2020. Properly maintaining a boat should be considered an investment, not an expense. The fact is that it will extend as much as possible to life of the vessel and its equipment to enjoy it more and better while sailing. During the summer period every year, the ferry is in dry dock to gild it with new anti-fouling paint and to rust to protect it from the main predatory corrosion of the metal. It is also the occasion to change the anodes, to disassemble the main pipes, the sea intake valves, and the holes to cover them with anti-rush paints and to change the defective ones to avoid water ingress that could cause a shipwreck. This is the time given to the technician to proceed with the rebuilding of the engines and auxiliaries and prescribed by the manufacturer for a better regeneration of the gears. Now, with deep sadness, we learned the death on Monday evening of the great Somali singer and song star Zainab Haj Ali, known as Bahsan, who died in Mogadishu after a long illness. The late Zainab Haj Ali played a major role in the last few years by traveling the most Somali region to sensitize the Somali people so that they can regain peace and civil harmony, but also and above all their national unity. In addition, the late Zainab Haj Ali participated extensively in the Somali Reconciliation Conference of Arte in Djibouti in 2000, in the field of sensitization of Somalis in a crucial period in the history of Somalia, which was totally absent from the concert of nations of the world by not having government recognition by the community. The Arte Conference was able to enable the Somalis gathered at Arte to regain their seat at the United Nations thanks to the enduring and successful mediation of the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the tireless effort of the people of Djibouti, who gave everything so that their Somali brothers could rise from their ashes. The late Zainab Haj Ali said will always be in the memory of Somali men. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Moving now to international news, the excess mortality related to the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States was 300,000 people, according to a study by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), released Tuesday, confirming that the official death toll of about 200,000 underestimates the real impact of the virus. Nearly 200,000 more deaths were officially attributed to COVID-19 between January 26th and October 3rd. By mortality statistics show that another 100,000 died for other reasons, compared that what was expected on the basis of the previous 5 years according to demographic models. These 100,000 additional deaths could be dead that should have been attributed to the coronavirus, but were not due to a lack of testing. Conversely, it is possible that the numbers of deaths due to the road traffic crashes may have declined due to containment and reduced travel. In total, studies had already shown that the pandemic had increased the number of deaths in the United States by about 20% compared to the expected mortality this year. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.
Actuellement, si tu reçois de l'argent